Whenever articles of impeachment are sent to the Senate, Colorado's new Senator John Hickenlooper will play a critical role in the upcoming trial.
And only on Denver 7, the senator discusses what he hopes to accomplish with the Biden administration. Here's Landon Hoff.
The last few weeks have been difficult to process.
I think that's one of the worst things that I've seen happen to this country in my lifetime, where the entire world was fixated on a nation torn by chaos.
Colorado's junior Democratic Senator John Hickenlooper was on Capitol Hill on January 6th when a mob of pro-Trump supporters stormed Congress, forcing it into lockdown and halting the certification of Electoral College votes. That mob, Hickenlooper says, was incited by President Trump.
And he fanned those flames of hate and loss and really drove people to storm the Capitol.
Now, it's no secret that Americans are divided on the issues, with multiple polls showing nominal difference in support for President Trump's impeachment, his overall approval, and the incoming administration. Not to mention anger brewing over a lack of progress in Washington. But in 2011, Hickenlooper had to take on a similar state of division right here in Colorado. The state legislature was divided among Democrats and Republicans, and the Tea Party and Occupy Wall Street movements were gaining steam. Even with a new president and administration set to take power, Senator Hickenlooper says now is the time to work together to make a stronger country.
I've been criticized as being naive to think that I could get Republicans to come work on some of these issues around COVID-19 and regenerating our economy in terms of addressing climate change in ways that actually creates jobs and doesn't take them away.
As for lawmakers on the left, there's an ideological battle going on in the Democratic Party over major issues like expanding health care. During the presidential campaign, progressive candidates like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren proposed Medicare for all, making a public option the default health care system. They even went so far as to support abolishing private health insurance companies. Moderates like Pete Buttigieg proposed Medicare for all who want it, basically expanding Medicare while keeping private health insurance as an option. While governor of Colorado in 2016, Hickenlooper said he did not support a ballot initiative to create a universal health care system in the state, but says one at the national level is possible.
And I think that's going to take a public option, as President-elect Biden has talked about frequently. I think it's going to take working with the doctors and the insurance companies and the hospitals and the pharmaceutical companies. Everyone's going to have to be at the table if we're going to control costs. Everyone's going to have to give up a little.
But when asked about his stance on a Green New Deal, a radical overhaul of the country's energy grid to run on renewable energy, the senator dug in his heels, citing the urgency of anthropogenic climate change.
We can create a lot more jobs than we're going to lose by addressing climate change head on. We don't have a lot of time to kind of negotiate and go back and forth. I've already had discussions with a number of Republican senators.
One issue a majority of Americans are not divided over is marijuana legalization. A Gallup poll taken in November shows nearly 70% of Americans support legalizing or decriminalizing recreational marijuana use. That's a topic that caught the whole country's attention right here in Colorado when voters approved Amendment 64 in 2012. While then Governor Hickenlooper was hesitant about enacting it, he eventually warmed up to it and now says Congress should follow suit.
We didn't give in to the pro-marijuana groups. We've created a system of regulation that was strict. Every bit as strict as we have for alcohol, maybe in some ways more strict. We stopped sending millions of kids to prison, which is what we've been doing. And we save the cost of incarcerating those kids. We save the cost of taking their lives away from them in many ways.
The senator says between taking the strain off of the banks and allowing the Food and Drug Administration to look more closely into the issue, it will save money and possibly even lives.